Okay, perfect. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us on our webinar today. My name is Adam O'Reilly. I'm the Student Recruitment Officer here in CPA Ireland. So you may be aware of ourselves, CPA. We are one of the leading accountancy bodies here in Ireland. So if you're looking to become a qualified accountant, you can do so with ourselves. Some of the benefits of becoming a CPA accountant with ourselves, CPA. Well, number one, we are an Irish accountancy body, so you have your supports here in Ireland, on your journey to becoming a qualified CPA. You have your dedicated education and training team that's there for you as a student, sitting your exams and completing your training. And like that, once you qualify and become a member, our member services team is there to support you for all your membership needs and post-qualification needs as well. The CPA qualification is a globally recognized professional accountancy qualification, and the CPA designation is the most common used designation for qualified accountants worldwide. So you have a qualification that travels with you, allowing you to work abroad as well as here in Ireland. Some of you might have seen on our website, we have a brand new syllabus for our students ready to face the future of accounting. So our syllabus is providing our students with the most up-to-date syllabus and skill sets for the future of the accountancy and finance profession. And our new syllabus is allowing our students to have an exciting and successful career. So if you would like any further information about our CPA or the CPA qualification, you can check out our website. Or if you'd like any more information, please feel free to email hello@cpaireland.ie. So I'll pass you over to James Perry, who is a qualified accountant and successful career and exam coach, who will provide you with some great insights into gaining clarity on your accountancy career.
Thank you so much, Adam, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to share my screen and talk you through a few things. Let's just share the screen first of all, and then I will be able to talk you through what we're going to go through this afternoon. Okay, so is that okay there, Adam? Okay, good stuff.
Yeah, perfect, James.
Good stuff. Okay, folks. So what are we talking about today? And this is what I was actually briefly speaking to Adam about this just before we came live. And my whole thing is, do I want to create the next generation of accountants? I don't know, okay? But do I want to give people options and choice and be aware of that? Absolutely. So this is where I want you to think about coming on from this webinar, about what options you have and what choice you have. If you're in the middle of your CPA exams, or if you've qualified recently maybe and you're thinking about what do I do moving forward, always think about having the choice and having the options for you. Okay, it's a hugely important thing. So what we're going to talk about is clarity in your career, hence the glasses. So what are we going to talk about today or touch on very, very briefly in this short session? First of all, is to manage your mindset. And I say manage, not control. We're never going to control it all, but we can take steps to manage it a bit better. We're going to have awareness of beliefs, and that's going to be the awareness of your belief and the impact that it may or may not be having on you. And good old pressure. So in these times, which are very, very unusual, there's a lot of pressure out there, there's a lot of stress. And I just want to give you some things to think about in respect of how to cope or manage that pressure some more. Gaining clear career clarity. I'm going to ask you a question right now. Why do you do what you do? And a lot of people cannot answer that. That's exactly the question I've just asked. And finally, we're going to just briefly chat about career values, because I think it's very important. If you can marry up your career with your personal values, things change. Okay. So that's what we're going to chat about. A little bit about me, first of all, there. Who am I? Who is this James Perry guy? Well, whenever somebody asks you who you are, you will invariably tell someone what job you do. Okay. I don't do that. So I actually tell people who I am, and I do it in 4 words. I'm a carer. So believe it or not, I care for my dad full time. I'm a coach in terms of accounting success, coach business. I'm an academic. I've always had an academic background, and I'm an adventurer, so I love a bit of travel. And for those who have seen me maybe on social media, you can see where I come through in terms of that. So that's who I am. Now, my background has always been in accounting. So I am a fellow chartered accountant with Chartered Accountants Ireland, and I've had a master's degree in advanced accounting and also an undergraduate degree as well, also in accounting. So it's always been in the blood. In terms of the career path, I own this business, Accounting Success Coach. I am a teaching fellow as well in the University of Ulster part-time. I consult occasionally with young enterprise, so that's getting business and career thoughts into our younger people in schools. Previously, I was associate director with Grant Thornton, so I was in the audit department for 9 years. And then finally there, I was financial controller within industry. So you know that blue stuff, that sweet blue stuff called WKD? Well, I was financial controller of that. And folks, if you like it, if you ever see it being made, you'll never drink it again. Okay, so that's part of the experience that I've had. And thankfully, I've been able to win a couple of awards in respect of this Accounting Success Coach business. Okay, so first thing I want to talk about is your mindset. And the question that I normally ask a lot of people is this: what is the most important thing in your life? And generally, most people will say my family, my job, my dog, whatever that may be. And my response back is, well, is it not your mind? Because without your mind, folks, you cannot comprehend anything else. And the next question is, do you look after it? And most people will say no. Okay. So it's the most precious thing you have, and yet most people, we tend not to look after it. Right. This is the person that's working the controls. This is my good old friend, the wee monkey. Now, what does the wee monkey do in your mind? It's the person that sabotages everything. It's the person that throws what we call SH1T everywhere. It's the defense system that tells you lies. Okay. So maybe you've experienced the self-saboteur that I'm not good enough, or I can't pass this exam, or I can't get that promotion. Okay. And you talk yourself out of it. Now, it happens to me all the time, but we need to actually understand why and have processes in place to try and lessen that impact. Now, the wee monkey is doing its job very, very well because it's actually purposefully there. It's there to defend you. Okay. It doesn't want you to maybe step out of the comfort zone. So it will do anything in its power to convince you otherwise. And that means also telling lies. Okay. So I just want to make you aware of it. There's something very natural that's trying to talk you out of things. So I want you to try and lock it away occasionally. What does that mean? If it's really, really starting to play up, you need to essentially tell it, I'm putting you away and I'm going to reinstall a bit more logic and a bit more process in our thinking, perhaps in terms of our career. Okay, so that's the first thing to think about. Next thing is what I call the growth mindset. And this is one of these buzzwords, and I don't necessarily like buzzwords at the minute. Okay, but the concept behind it is really, really powerful. So let me flip it on its side in the other way for you. I bet you know people who've got a fixed mindset. They will not improve themselves. They will stay static in a job. They will maybe work in a job they don't like, with people they don't like, for a person they don't like. Okay? That's a very fixed mindset and they'll do nothing about it. What I want you to think about, folks, is growth. Do not stay stagnant. Okay? Try and explore other options and other things in order for you to grow and for you to improve. So what do I want you to do? Have this in your mind. Be more open about things. Be receptive to ideas and to other approaches. Be more aware of yourself. So if I say something today, you go, oh, have I done that before? Or maybe it'll trigger a thought. Maybe go away and explore that a bit more. That's the big thing. Now, if you guys out there have heard me talk regarding exams, which a lot of you, I think you maybe would have, this is a mantra of mine. You look at situations as opportunities, not obstacles. We can get round the obstacles, but it's the opportunities that you want to look at and to focus on, okay? So that's where the growth mindset comes from. And why do I say this? Because this approach completely changed my life, folks. Okay. So I'm the living proof of it, where I was a very fixed mindset, opened myself up to ideas, and now I'm here with a lifestyle business that I really enjoy. Okay. So in terms of a career, things can happen. So that's the first thing. Have a bit of a critical look at your mindset. Secondly, folks, I want to touch on beliefs. And it all does start with what we're talking about today. Having some sort of clarity or thinking about what you want to do and having a clear mindset and being able to manage the monkey to actually give you that clarity moving forward. So that clarity and mindset, if that is in place, that will help you develop a process and a plan. Now, us old accountants, we love processes. Us good old accountants, we know what business plans are. Do you have a plan for your career? And I bet you the vast majority will say no. So have a think about that. Do you have a career plan? If you don't know where you're going. It's like going to a destination without a map. Have a think about that. So if you've got the right mindset, you've got a plan in place, and you take action, and someone holds you to account, that will get you along the road to success. Okay. So people will sell you this great magic pill of success instantly. No, that doesn't work, folks. You need to have the underpinning fundamental things in place, and that's three of them in those corners. But what underpins everything? What is the foundation? The foundation is the belief you have in yourself. And the thing is this: one thing builds upon another. Your belief, so that's maybe locking away the monkey of self-doubt occasionally to say, okay, I've got this. Then putting a plan into place which will help you reach your potential. Taking action and having someone to hold you to account will get you results, no matter how small. But the big thing about that is once you get results, that should help your momentum. It reinforces the belief, potential, action, results, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's another thing I want you to think about is lock away the monkey, get a process in place, and build on small wins. Okay. Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say. That's another thing I want you to think about. Next one is stress management. And this is really this monkey I'm talking about, how do we compose the monkey? Now, I bet you all feel like that, especially over the last 12, 13 months. I bet we've all felt that at some time. So we're stressed, we're anxious, and we're frustrated. And the big thing is, folks, this doesn't come through necessarily just mentally, but I have no doubt you've had the cold sweat. I have no doubt you've had that tremble, especially exams, folks, that comes through like that. Okay. But remember, your physical body and your mental body is completely integrated. So if you're stressed and anxious, it will come through physically. You know the good old saying, you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders? Believe it or not, some people have got a bad back because of what's going on emotionally. So have a think about that as well. But what we want is a lot of us at this stage we're going through peaks and troughs like this mentally and stress, peaks and troughs, huge peaks and very low troughs. But what we want is a slight ripple. There's things that are going to happen. So we want to have a slight ripple that's maintainable. Okay. So we want to have a slightly more increased feeling of calm. And we know what the rage is out there. And I put these out to you. I'm not going to go through them in any detail, but meditation, breathing, all this mindfulness, etc. That's all the rage at the moment. But what I want to point out to you folks is this. It's what I call the lifestyle or the body battery. It's going right back to fundamentals. And I tell all my career coaching clients this, and I tell all my exam coaching clients this. If your diet's not right, if your sleep isn't right, and your exercise routine isn't right, your body battery is running on empty. So there's no wonder you're stressed. So again, some people think I'm going to talk about some magic spell that's going to fix everything, and you're going to have a greatest mindset in the world. Apologies, folks. I'm a wee bit more realistic than that. You have to have the fundamentals correct. Okay. So we can go into meditation, we can do all this, and it's going to work wonders. But if you don't have those three things done, as well as, folks, having an emotional release, talking to people, having the right social circle, having those people that will defend you, those fundamentals of everything. Keep that in mind, and you will see that your mind will start to become much more stable. Okay. So that's the basics. And I want you to reassess those basics in your life. So that's a really quick run through the mindset piece. Okay, in terms of beliefs, in terms of how to manage yourself. Now, the solution to your career. What is that? That's a massive, massive question I've just put up there. Well, we all know the pain. Okay. You've maybe went for an interview and it hasn't went to plan. Or you're in work and you've done a massive piece of work that's been really good. And your manager says, no, I don't want that. Or you believe your efforts have gone unrewarded. Okay. Or you're maybe taking a stand back going, right, okay, I'm either nearing qualification or just going to be qualified, but I don't have a clue what I'm going to do. But the gains are there, folks. You've got the qualification. There's maybe the hope of a promotion, or maybe, which is now important, doing something that you actually want to do and you enjoy. But what is the missing link? The missing link is having clarity in your thinking. Okay. You need to know where you're going. You need to have, it's like saying what I've said there again, you're driving to the destination. You need to have a bit of a roadmap in front of you to understand where you're going in that direction. Okay. So that's what I'm going to touch upon now. A few things to try and maybe give you a few thoughts around clarity. Okay. So this pyramid of success was designed by a guy called Robert Dilts, and he was big into the psychology and especially into the psychology of business. And he drew up this pyramid. Okay. And if you look at each area, what I would want you to do after this webinar is perhaps answer those questions in terms of career, where you are and maybe where you want to get to. We've really touched on beliefs there, which underpins things, but I want to sort of touch upon values and why you want to do something. This is incredibly important. Okay, so look where that is. It's in the fundamental spot in that pyramid. If that was to be pulled out, a lot of the pyramid falls apart. So I'm going to put to you some initial questions, folks, to think about. And you've maybe never thought of these before. So I'm going to let you ponder on them, something you can do after this webinar. How many hours a week do you want to work, realistically? Okay. Are you comfortable with your 60 or your 70 hours a week? Really? Or do you want to work slightly less than that? I'll be honest, folks, I work about 3.5 days a week now. Okay. Because it gives me the flexibility for other things. How much money do you want to be making? And again, I'm going to be honest. We all want to be millionaires. Absolutely. Absolutely. I wanted to be a millionaire whenever I was going for partnership in Grant Thornton 9 years ago or 10 years ago. Okay. But there's a trade-off. And the trade-off for me was working the 70 hours a week, which then I understood that I didn't want to do. Okay. So you want to try and understand the balance that you want in your life. What lifestyle do you want? So what I've done with this business, folks, is that I've got it to 3.5 hours a week. Or sorry, 3.5 days a week. I'm getting a relatively good income at a standard where I was. Took a lot of time to get that, but it's the lifestyle now for me. So what if we were normal times, I could be sitting in San Francisco right now, giving you this webinar. I could be sitting in Toronto, Melbourne, and that's the lifestyle I want. So have a think about that. What lifestyle do you want and where will it be? Here's a big one. I know good old accountants generally are risk adverse, generally speaking. So a lot of us will become employed because of the stability of the job role. However, if you've got an idea, folks, why not do it in your 5 to 9? Why not spend 2 or 3 hours, maybe 2 or 3 times a week and a couple of hours at weekends working on an idea? You just do not know where it'll lead. This business of mine, I woke up just over 4 years ago with an idea in the middle of the night. And I worked on it after hours of my normal job, and here I am now. Okay. So have a think about that. Here's a big one. Who do you want to spend time with? And especially in your work environment. Remember, you generally will spend more time in work than you will at home. So who you surround yourself with is very important. And it's linked to that. Do you want to grow as a person? Back to that growth mindset. So what environment do you want in your career in order to move you forward and for it to develop you? Okay. So as I've said, there's a number of questions for you to ponder. Again, it's not like what's out there in social media where there's all these quick fix schemes to get a new job in 3 months, etc. I'm not necessarily about that, folks. If you want to create a career for you, you have to go and develop that plan. And that may be 2 or 3 years down the line. The one thing I want to make you aware of is that my dad, for example, industrial revolution thinking. So it was in his mindset to stay in the same role for 35 years. And that's fine if you want that. But the other thing for you to ponder and to think of is we're now in the entrepreneurial revolution. We can create things for ourselves. We can go and understand more about jobs in an instant. We could go and talk to recruiters. We can go and talk and find information and think about a lifestyle that we want to build. Okay. So that's a lot for you to think about. Okay. So one technique I want you to think about as well. Why do you do what you do? There's a concept what I call the 5 whys. The 5 whys is you ask yourself a question and then you ask yourself why regarding the previous statement beforehand. And I'm going to give you an example. So why do I want to continue to grow my accounting success coach business? So why number one, I want a sustainable business. I've actually got great pride in what I've done with this business and I want to keep on going with it. Why? 10 years ago, I never thought I would have been doing what I'm doing now. That's the first thing. Second thing, to have a salary on my terms, which is maybe something that's risky because there's certain months I don't have as much income and there's other months I've got a lot of income and a lot of invoices out there, etc., etc., etc. But that's a crucial thing for me, folks, is to have flexibility and freedom. Very important to me. To be able to travel, so have laptop, will travel. And again, that has been an important why for me. And overall, that has been to have as many experiences in my life that I want. Now, that's what I want myself. You may have something different, very different. But what I want you to think about is that 5 whys. That's a really, really powerful technique to give you some more clarity on where you want to go. Next aspect I want to talk about is values. Now, this is something that was foreign to me a number of years ago. But looking back, now that I understand my values, it's actually really crystal clear why some career choices didn't work. Very, very clear. So what are values? This is a really good table in terms of looking at some words to think about and consider in terms of career, but I want to touch on that top one. What's your value personally to whichever situation you're in, but what are your personal values? And I'm going to give you a number of examples from me. So what are my top personal values? And I'm going to give you the personal values and I just want to show you how it fits in with your career because I don't necessarily believe in a work-life balance, folks. And why do I say that? Because it's all life, in my opinion. Everything is life. So personal values should actually blend into career. What are my top personal values? And I batch these in pairs for me, and I've picked out my top 5 batches. So empathy and compassion. I love helping people. I really do. It's the thing that's really stoked my fire. I could be as well, working in audit again, signing off audit reports, and that's fine. But I loved helping clients. I love the interaction with the clients. So it's empathy for me is really important. Intelligence and growth. I want something to be able to challenge me. So it is now being in the role of the challenge of developing my own business. Really, really important. Big one, folks, trust and loyalty. We maybe have all been there where there perhaps wasn't that element of loyalty in an organization you were in. But that's what I really, really want And again, with my clients in a one-to-one, I would like to think that I trust them and they trust me implicitly. So therefore we can build on that rapport and move forward. Fun and positivity. I love having a bit of crack. Love having the crack with people in my role in work, etc. And if you're not in a place, folks, where you're actually enjoying going to work, and I know we're all online at the moment, but I mean just in general terms, have a think about it, okay? We spend obviously a lot of our lifetime in work. You'd want to be having some enjoyment within that. And belonging and love. Now, that's a personal thing in terms of belonging and love, but I'll give you an example. The reason why I was 9 years with Grant Thornton is because I actually had a sense of belonging with the organization. They had this culture and I quite liked it at the time. I still do. I have a lot of affinity for the firm. But if you have that belonging where you're working or who you're working with, it's a really important thing. So what I want you to do, again, after the webinar, have a real think about what are my core values and do they relate to where I'm actually working or what I'm doing or my job role, okay? If there's something out of alignment there, it may be a hard slog. So how do your personal values impact your career? That's maybe a question nobody has asked you before. Okay, nobody had asked me that until I actually had to look at my own personal values and rewind and go, well, I now understand why certain situations didn't work out. So there can be a sweet spot. There really can. And this is going to be one of my last points before then we go into Q&A. And there's a concept, and it's a Japanese concept. It's called Ikigai. Okay, so go and Google Ikigai later on this evening. There's a bit of homework for you. What Ikigai is getting that sweet spot that you're really, really loving. And that could be in terms of any aspect of your life. But in terms of career, look at some of the areas there. What do you love to do? What are you good at? What does the world need? And what can you be paid for? So, do I love helping people? Absolutely, I do. Am I good at it? I would like to think I'm okay. Yeah. I would like to think there's enough testimonials or recommendations for me and I've got a good rapport with people and I've got a good track record of results with my clients. So I think, like to hope I'm good at it. Is it what the world needs? Well, does the world need more accountants? I don't know. But does the world or do my clients want more options in their life? Absolutely. And can I get paid for doing all that? Yes, I can. So I would like to think I've actually hit the sweet spot. Okay, very indirectly. But what I done was after I woke up with the idea, I worked on it in my 5 to 9 after hours and work. And slowly but surely, I was able to build something that I wanted. Okay. I have a caveat for you, a warning for you. And you will see this all over social media. It's actually rare to have a career that you're 100% passionate about. Now, I love football, but I'm not going to be a Premier League footballer. I'm passionate about football, but I'm not going to be a Premier League footballer. But you can have a career that you are good at and you enjoy. And I suppose the word that I should be putting there is that you feel fulfilled at. Whenever someone contacts me to say, James, I went for that interview and I got the job role, or James, I passed that exam, I feel incredibly fulfilled. And it gives me that job satisfaction. So I'm not going to paint the picture, folks, of sugarcoat everything and say it's lovely and sweet and everything is going to go to plan. But I just want to point out some questions for you to ponder and to think about. You can actually establish a 2-year plus plan to try and get to where you want to get to. But it's having clarity in your mindset and clarity as well in that direction and asking yourself those critical questions that maybe you've never asked yourself before. So what I have got, what I've done and what I'm going to launch in June is I've got a career accelerator, and CLEAR stands for those 5 words are clarity, leadership, execution, achievement, and reflection. And I've got 10. So essentially what that does, it helps you stand out in a crowded marketplace, especially at the moment where there are a number of people, lots of people vying for relatively limited roles. And this touches on a lot of different areas, and it really helps you stand out from the crowd. And the way I've put it, I've actually mentioned this today in a post on LinkedIn, is that this is slightly different than your CPD. Okay. This is from my years within practice, within industry, within public sector, academia, education, and talking to many, many people that actually takes those experiences or lack of experiences whenever I was coming through the profession and putting it into a course that actually will work for you. Okay. This is taking 18 years of mistakes. This is taking 18 years of struggling. Why can I not deal with this or look at that? And it does look at how to grow your reputation, LinkedIn, how to get that mindset correct, how to get the clarity going further than we've spoken about today, how to develop your creative thinking skills, how to go from the desire of a job through application, CV, and then the job role. In terms of management, how do you manage yourself? How do you become a leader in your field? And much, much more. Okay, so there are lots of areas there that are really, really, really good in terms of developing you, and it will help you stand out in a crowded marketplace. So, folks, that is essentially some sort of areas I want to touch upon. If you want to contact me, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, folks. It's the easiest way to get in contact with me. Go to LinkedIn, search for James Perry Accounting Success Coach. If you've got a message, feel free to contact me at any time, and I will certainly help you any way that I can. So I know we've got a period of time set aside, Adam, for Q&A. So any questions that anyone has, I would have absolutely be honored to answer them.
James, I might kick it off with a quick question, if that's okay.
Yep, no problem at all.
I suppose when you were working in Grant Thornton and before you, I suppose, moved into your new position, did your values change at any time from, I suppose, your previous role into your new role as you made that transition, or do you think they have always been the same since your journey?
The core values have been there, Adam, but I didn't recognize them.
Okay.
I didn't recognize them at all, and I didn't make the link. To me, work was work, and here's James's life. But then when you consider, it's all the same. And if things weren't going well in work, it was because it was contrary to my personal values and belief system. So was it the same? Yes, I just never recognized it.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose, like, personal experience, I would think that as well. I think deep down you have all your values, and if things aren't aligning with them from a work or personal life, then it kind of shows that it's always been there. And look, that came from experience as well myself. Just thought it'd be interesting if you felt the same as well, just listening to your journey. I think as well it's a great time to have this session. Just the last year with everything going on, I think it's given people that time to really consider what's important to them in their career and their life. And there's a lot of great points you touched on that will, I suppose, hopefully make everyone think about where they want to be in their future and their career as well. I know just questions coming there from Alan. Can you see that? Do you want me to read it out to you?
Yeah, if you could.
Yeah, perfect. So Alan has just said, James, one of your slides where you discussed values had opportunities as the fifth bullet point. How important is it to be in a position mentally to take opportunities when they present themselves, and then just in brackets, which they will?
Yeah, so I discussed values, opportunities, the fifth bullet point. Yeah, I think was that along the lines of opportunities, not obstacles. Maybe so. In terms of if you are not in the position mentally, I don't think you'll have the clarity to even spot the opportunities whenever they come your way. And that's the thing. Opportunities, believe it or not, appear in many different ways and in many different forms. For example, one of the reasons why I had to create this business for myself, you know what I mean? And it was because of a certain unfortunate situation that happened in my personal life that I had to go and create the business for me. But having said that, Adam, if I didn't take those small steps initially to realize that, okay, I love working with people. That meets an initial value of mine. Let's go and explore how this opportunity can come through even further. And thankfully, 3 years out, or 3 years, it's worked. But it's having that clarity or realizing whenever an opportunity comes that it aligns with you personally, you can then go and explore it a lot further. Us risk adverse accountants perhaps don't like that. So maybe have a very educated risk folks out there. Have an educated risk, or have an educated thought about, okay, what can I do off to the side that can take me in the direction that I want to go in?
Brilliant. Just another question in there from Alan. He's just saying he's working in accounts, but would like to go into investment banking, but no experience. Would you have any tips?
Yep. The first thing, Alan, thanks very much for the question. The first thing I would do is, if you know anyone in terms of investment banking, go and talk to them. And if you don't know anybody in investment banking, go and find someone and talk to them. Okay. The first thing you need to know is, what's the experience of someone that's there, and understand that what are the ins and outs and the pitfalls and the pros and cons of investment banking, and get as much experience as possible. Now, wherever you are, I know you're saying you're working in accounts, but in whichever organization you're working in, is there any opportunity whatsoever that you can take a hold of another department or something that may be linked to even just to banking essentially at all? So for example, with me, whenever I qualified with Grant Thornton, I had a 6 months secondment into a bank, but that essentially was for nothing else other than to build up my network of people, because they'd seen my potential as a potential partner in 5 years' time. So I was seconded to say, go and meet as many people as possible. So again, Alan, what I would say is, think outside the box. Go and maybe, the big thing is, try and find someone you know in investment banking and make connections with them and understand maybe what you need to do to move you forward in that direction.
Alan just said it is a small company, but I think, as he said, James, finding somebody maybe outside the organization.
Unbelievable thing then, Alan, go onto LinkedIn and search. Honestly, we've now got the power. LinkedIn is now, I called it very much a land grab. LinkedIn is there now at the minute. The algorithm is open. You can go, honestly, search for somebody and send them a direct message in investment banking and go, hey, I would love to have a virtual coffee with you. Honestly, because most people don't get direct messages on LinkedIn. And if somebody wants to invite them for a virtual cup of coffee, in my opinion, the likelihood was go, yeah, let's do it. Let's have a chat. Use LinkedIn.
Brilliant. Alan said, thank you.
Great.
Perfect. No problem. I don't see any other questions coming in at the moment, but as James said, look, connect with him on LinkedIn. I'm sure he'd be happy to have virtual coffee with you anytime.
Absolutely no problem at all.
Brilliant. Well, like that, looked at the session. We've recorded the session, so we can follow up as well with a recording to everyone on today, so you can watch it again at your own time. No, so that's the best things about having a webinar. It can be recorded and you can go back over as well. So we won't keep everyone too long. I just want to say, James, thank you very much for coming on and for giving up your time this afternoon to speak with everyone today.
Thanks, Adam. No problem at all.
Perfect.
And
no
folks,
problem.
feel free, everyone, to connect with LinkedIn, and also keep an eye out for the new course launching in June. I'm really excited with this one.
Definitely. Yeah, guys, look, engage with James and keep an eye out for that as well. Perfect. Well, look, thanks again, and hopefully we'll see you again, James.
Thank you.